So, I'm going to speak on some information that I extracted from the Zohar, and, we're going to leave it there. So, basically, the only thing that I really want to say, and the only thing that I really want to talk about, really is that today, really, I just want to talk about Yesod. Alright? And, essentially, I really don't want to make any mistakes, but essentially, Yesod is the Sephiroth of Yesod, or Jacob, right? And it was said that Jacob wrestled with a mysterious person all night, which was said to be an angel. Okay, and basically said he seen the face of God and called it pineal. Now, so if you know anything about Kabbalah, you would know that Yesod is also referred to as Sadiq. Yesod is also referred to as Sadiq, which means righteous one, or the one on the path. And the Yesod realm is also the realm that is said to be the phallus. Now, why is this important? Because the gateway to higher consciousness is to be a Sadiq, okay, or a righteous one, or one on the path. And how does one become a righteous one, or embarks on the path? Through the phallus, but righteousness of the phallus. Because Yesod attains union with Tiferet. And Tiferet is also referred to as written Torah. And Tiferet is also referred to as the sun. And another thing that's a little interesting when you look at Tiferet being, or referred to as written Torah, and Tiferet also being referred to as the sun. And since Tiferet is referred to as the sun, and since Tiferet is referred to as the written Torah, if you look at the Tanakh, it has 24 books. And in the Zohar it says that there's 24 books in the Bible, and if a person is lacking in one of them, then he is worthless. But what would stand out to me is that it's 24 books in the Bible, and Tiferet is called written Torah, but it's 24 hours in it. That was important to me. But through the righteousness, right, that I described earlier. We know what the righteousness is through Yesod, through the Siddiq, through Yaakov, wrestling all night with an angel and seeing the face of God and calling it pineal. Is the union with Tiferet. And through the union of Tiferet, basically, one is able to actualize their divine archetypes, right? And actualizing the divine archetypes, go the other way. Actualizing the divine archetypes ties into, you know, two more Sephiroths, which is Nezak and Had, which is also described as legs, or is also described as genitals, which is said to transmit love to Shekinah. But Shekinah is also Melkut, which is the lower Sephiroth, which is described as the kingdom, which is also described as the earth. So we see a process taking place. We see a process of a righteous one following a righteous path, and through following this righteous path is actualizing the divine archetypes. Now in the Zohar, it talks about Nezak and Had being David's loyal acts of love. And these loyal acts of love support and strengthen Tiferet, which they call Abidin, actualize, to actualize the divine archetypes. So the Yesod being a Siddiq, okay, is also referred to as Baal Barit. Baal Barit, which is the master of the covenant. And the master of the covenant gets into living holy sexual lives. So living this holy sexual life essentially, you know, is a main ingredient to unlocking or to actualize the divine archetypes. Now, the master of the covenant, because you got to understand this has a deep symbolic nature, and you really have to study and meditate on some of these things to really fully, you know, grasp, you know, to really grasp it, because you know, sometimes words just can't express, and a lot of great teachers, you know, even talk about that's why the ancient Egyptians, you know, writing was symbolic, you know, to evoke, you know, the symbolism was evoking, you know, it was evoking knowledge, you know, instead of, so, but anyways, so the master of the covenant deals with Baal Barit, which is the master of the covenant, living holy sexual lives, deals with the quality of Yesod, but also denotes circumcision. Okay, now circumcision, as you know, is, you know, when a male child is born, the parents decides whether or not they're going to get the baby circumcised, which is removing some skin away from the private part. Now, inside of Sefer Yetzirah, they speak about circumcision actually dealing with the tongue. also. Okay, so it's a lot of this stuff is has a symbolic nature to it. So it talks about circumcision dealing with the tongue, not just with the phallus. Okay, and circumcision of the tongue is having correct speech. Now in the Zohar, it goes off and it talks about this evil entity or this demon or some type of devil that is called Duma. When a person speaks negatively or speak unrighteously, this entity Duma will drag them into hell or whatever the case may be and take their life. And you know, to me that's powerful because, you know, nowadays there's a lot of talks about, you know, metaphysical frequency and all of these sorts of things. You know, and we speak about, you know, we talk about affirmations, we talk about the power of the word, you know, we talk about speaking things into existence. We talk about all of these righteous aspects and being on a certain frequency and all of this. And, you know, to me, it's, you know, it's somewhat interesting, you know, to find a remnants of it, you know, in the very old text, in a medieval text. So I think I'll get into this and I'll just leave it here. So essentially, the first chapter of the Zohar basically gets into 14 commandments. And each of these 14 commandments, I believe, is getting into it's getting into the book of Genesis, and it's breaking down. You know, it's an esoteric. You know, the Zohar is an esoteric commentary. You know, on Torah, right? But it talks about the awe of Yahweh, or the Yah of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. And the awe of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh is the beginning of wisdom. And in the beginning of wisdom is, in the beginning, God created. So they say that it's three aspects of the awe of God. And basically that's the fear of one, you know, fear of one losing his children, losing his family, you know, some aspect of that nature. The second is, you know, a person fearing hell, fearing eternal damnation. But the third is that a person fears because he is Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh is immense and sovereign, rooted in all worlds. All the inhabitants of the world is as nothing, and one should direct his desire to the cause of the all. So all the inhabitants of the world is as nothing, and one should direct his desire to the sight that caused it, the creation of everything. This is the all. So essentially it's saying that, you know, one should not fear God for the punishment. One should not fear God for hell. But one should fear God because the power of God. You know, not the power of God because what God can do, but the power of God because what God is. You know, and that goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the video. When, you know, man has the ability to realize that it's something greater than him that created him. Alright? And this is the awe of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. And so this is the first commandment. And through this devotion, all right, and through this devotion and through the awe of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, knowing that there's a creator, acknowledging that there's a creator, all right, acknowledging that there's a creator, knowing that there's something greater than you that created you in all things, all right, and through genuine devotion creates the holy dwelling of Shekinah. All right, so Shekinah, which dwells Melkut, the kingdom, the lower Sephiroth. These are the beginning stages of the Sephiroth, because essentially one wants to climb the Sephiroth, you know, or not even exactly climb the Sephiroth. I can't say that, but one wants to bring the heavenly realm to the earthly realm. And through my studies, you know, that's essentially what it's about. All right. So in the beginning of the Bible, it's the first word of the Bible is Bet, better sheep. And Bet could be in, but it also can be because of. So instead of in the beginning, okay, instead of in the beginning, better sheep in the beginning, it also could be because of the beginning. Better sheep because of the beginning. All right. And you know, that deals with the all of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. It's because of the beginning. That kind of goes back to a video I created, Profound Mystery of the First Verse in the Bible. So another thing they talk about in the Zohar is to consummate in love. And this consummate in love deals with symbolically or esoterically, let there be light. All right, now to me, and what it's telling me, you know, let there be light and being consummate in love, because see, consummate in love deals with judgment and favor. All right, this is Gevurah and this is Hesed. All right, this is Gevurah and this is Hesed. This is judgment and favor. This is two different aspects of the Sephiroth. All right, and favor. All right, because we're still talking about the all of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, the all of God. All right, in the favor deals with, you know, when good things happen in your life, you know, that's the favor. God has been great. I'm blessed. God did a lot of things to me. But the judgment comes from when you get a spanking. You know, when things is not, you know, going right, when things seems to be crumbling, this is still having love for God, even though, you know, things is not going the way that you want them to go. This is still knowing and having love for God. All right, so this is the consummating love. Now this deals with let there be light. But what's kind of stands out to me with them describing consummating love and it being an aspect or an esoteric, you know, esoterically associated with let there be light. When you have light, you're able to see. You know, without light, one can't see. Light, you know, once the light is on, a person can see. Now you're able to see judgment and favor. You're able to see the good and you're able to see the bad. All right, so that kind of aspect kind of sticks out to me, you know, when reading this passage. All right, and so you got judgment, you got favor. All right, you got Gevurah. All right, and you got Hesed, judgment and favor. And Tiferet, which sits in the middle, is a blending of both extremes.